peace on a rooftop. We have all had intense moments. For me, one such moment happened while standing on the rooftop of Masjid al-Haram. Above me was only sky, below me the most beautiful view of the Kaaba and an acute sign of Allah, this life and the life to come. I was surrounded by an overwhelming crowd that exists nowhere else on this earth. But for me, it could have been that I was standing completely alone with Allah. I brought with me to that rooftop so much heartache, confusion, and doubt. I came with so much weakness, human frailty, and pain. Standing at a crossroads in my life, I brought with me fear of what was to come and hope in what could be. So as I stood on that roof, I remembered the story of Musa. May Allah be pleased with him, standing at the Red Sea. His physical eyes saw nothing but a wall of water, entrapping him as an enemy approached, but his spiritual eyes saw only Allah and a way out so certain it was, as if he had already taken it, while the voices of his people, bereft of trust or hope, spoke only of being overtaken. Musa did not waver. As I stood there, I heard the distant voices warning me of what was to come, but my heart heard only, Inna Maya Rabbi Sa Yahdeen. Truly my Lord is with me, He will guide me through. However, seeing through the illusions of hardship, confusion, and pain that surround us can only happen when we allow our heart to focus. The foundation of Islam is Tawheed, oneness, but Tawheed is not just about saying that God is one. It is so much deeper. It is about the oneness of purpose, of fear, of worship, of ultimate love for God. It is the oneness of vision and focus. It is to direct one's sight on one singular point, allowing everything else to fall into place. One of the most beautiful traditions of the Prophet ﷺ captures this concept perfectly. He said, whoever makes the hereafter his preoccupation, then Allah places freedom from want in his heart, gathers his affairs, and dunya comes to him despite being reluctant to do so. And whoever makes dunya his preoccupation, then Allah places his poverty in front of his eyes, make his affairs scattered, and nothing of the dunya comes to him except that which has been decreed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have ever seen a magic eye picture, you can see a wonderful metaphor of this truth. At first glance, the picture looks like nothing but a collection of shapes with no order or purpose. But if you start by bringing this picture right up to your face, focusing your eye on one singular point, as you move the picture slowly away from your face, the picture suddenly becomes clear. However, as soon as you take your eyes off that singular point of focus, the picture disappears and again becomes nothing but a sea of shapes. In the same way, the more we focus on the dunya, the more our matters become scattered. The more we run after the dunya, the more it runs away from us. The more we chase wealth, ironically, the more poverty we feel. If money is the focus, you will find that no matter how much money you have, you will always fear losing it. This preoccupation is poverty itself. This is why the Prophet ﷺ says about such people that poverty is always in front of their eyes. That is all they see. No matter how much they had, there is no contentment, only greed for more and fear of loss. But for the ones who focus on Allah, the dunya comes to them and Allah puts contentment in their hearts. If they have less, they feel rich and are more willing to give from that wealth. And when such people feel trapped by life, by financial hardship, by pain, by loneliness, by fear, by heartbreak or sadness, all they have to do is return to Allah. And He always makes a way out for them. Know that this is not some feel-good theory. It is a promise made by Allah Himself, who says in the Quran, "And for those who fear Allah, He ever prepares a way out. And He provides for him from sources he never could imagine. And if anyone puts his trust in Allah, sufficient is Allah for him." Allah is sufficient for them. Allah is enough for those who make Allah their primary concern. There is only peace, because whatever happens to them in this life, it is good and accepted as the will of Allah. Imagine having only good in your life. That is the state of this type of believer. As the Prophet says, "Wondrous are the believer's affairs. For him there is good in all his affairs, and this is so only for the believer. When something pleasing happens to him, he is grateful, and that is good for him. And when something displeasing happens to him, he is enduring, and that is good for him." And so in the heart of such a believer is a sort of paradise. That is the paradise that Ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah have mercy on his soul, spoke of when he said, "Truly there is a heaven in this world, and whoever does not enter it will not enter the heaven of the next world. And in that heaven, complete peace is not something of a moment, it is state eternal."